All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this evening's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing at Nashville Super Speedway for tonight's running of the Rackley Roofing 200. As in tonight's race, we have for you the 12th race of the 2025 Craftsman Truck Series season. That means after tonight's race, we have just 6 races to go in the regular season, and of course, the playoffs starting here in the late summer months. As far as today's race, the last race in the month of May, you would think we're still relatively early in the season, but that is not the case. A lot of playoff bubble spots obviously going to be on the line over the next several races for the Truck Series. They've been ongoing with their action for 5 consecutive weeks. This is the longest on stretch in which the Truck Series will be racing in back-to-back weeks through this portion of the season. They will still continue their quest next week at Michigan before having their first off week in over a month and a half. And coming into tonight's race, Corey Heim will be starting on the pole in this one. He does come in as the series points leader, and he won the most recent race on the Craftsman Truck Series schedule, winning last weekend at Charlotte, leading the most laps, winning both stages, and winning the race. I believe he actually had the fastest lap as well, so he had a max points day of 61 points. He's led 754 laps so far this season. He's already collected 28 playoff points with 4 race wins and 8 stage wins through the first 11 events. He's only finished outside the top 10 2 times and outside the top 5 4. As he comes into this evening's race, he has a 100-point lead for the regular season championship over Chandler Smith. And again, with just 6 races to go after this, he is fastly approaching his way to hopefully getting that regular season title for the second time in his truck career. As far as behind him in the point standings goes, Chandler Smith comes into this evening's race second, again minus 100 points. He's the only other driver with more than 1 win in the Truck Series field so far this season. Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Ankrum each have a win apiece. We've had 3 Cup regulars have a win this season down in the Truck Series level. Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar, and Kyle Larson are those 3. And then that means we would have 6 drivers above the cutoff line coming into the race by way of the playoff standings, as 10 drivers will qualify at the end of these 18 races for the regular season. Grant Enfinger is the highest in the point standings. He's 5th overall, and he does not have a race win so far this season to show. Lane Riggs is 6th in points, Caden Honeycutt 7th, Jake Garcia 8th, Ty Majeski 9th, and Stuart Friesen rounds out the top 10. Friesen's gap over Gio Ruggiero for that final playoff spot currently is 27 points coming into the evening. Not 27, 7 points coming into the evening, even tighter than that. 10 points over Ben Rhodes, who is 12th. 13th in points, Raja Karut is 17 points back. And then 28 points back is Tanner Gray in 14th. So that's kind of right around the bubble. The driver's just on the outside looking in. Now it's time to go through the starting lineup for this race here this evening. Actually, we'll turn it trackside first. And then we'll go through the starting lineup as we're about to get into our pre-race ceremonies.
Last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, following the Star Spangled Banner, time to get into the starting lineup for tonight's Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville Super Speedway for the Craftsman Truck Series. On the pole and fastest in practice earlier today will be Corey Heim. Qualifying was rained out following the practice session a couple hours ago. No inclement weather or anything of that nature on tap for tonight during the race, so we should get all 200 miles complete under its scheduled distance. But as for Heim, again, on the pole with the metric system, of course, winning last weekend, being the points leader, and having the fastest lap last week unanimously, will be on the pole for this one following the rain out of qualifying. He was the fastest in the 5 to 30 lap average categories in practice when they did have that run. 44 laps complete for Corey Heim total in that session. Caden Honeycutt on the front row as he comes off his career best Truck Series finish of third in his last going at Charlotte a week ago. We'll see what he can do here today to try to get a couple spots better. In row 2 will be Lane Riggs and Grant Enfinger, still in search for their first wins of 2025. Corey Day going to be making his third truck start in the 7 for Spire Motorsports, and Bailey Curry will be on the outside of that row as well. In row number 4 will be Daniel Hemrick and Tyler Ankrum. Row number 5 for Jake Garcia and Raja Kruth rounding out the top 10. Behind them in row 6 will be Matt Mills and Kyle Busch. Busch, the only Cup regular in the field today. Stuart Friesen with William Sawalich line up in row number 12. Row 13 for Ben Rhodes and Andres Perez. Row number 14 for Gio Ruggiero, who I mentioned already, just on the outside looking in for the playoff battle, as well as Matt Crafton, who's on the outside looking in, also lining up alongside of him. Luke Fenhouse, Connor Mosack will round out the top half of the field in row number 10. Row 11 for Tanner Gray and Jack Wood. Chandler Smith, who has 2 wins this year, looking for a third, starts deep in the field inside of row number 12 with Nathan Bird to his outside. Row 13 will be Spencer Boyd and the defending series champion Ty Majeski. Breaking units with Tyler Tomasi in row 14 and row 15, Dawson Sutton and Tony Breidinger. Clayton Green and Akinori Ogata will round out the field in row number 16. 32 trucks on the entry list for this weekend at Nashville. Again, our scheduled distance right around 200 miles, 150 laps, with stages 1 and 2 each being 45 laps in length, and stage 3 being 60 to take us to the finish. For fuel purposes, they will not have to pit for fuel at all in stages 1, 2, or 3. So depending on how the cautions may fall, if we see any cautions for incident, would definitely lead into some interesting strategy if it is right down the middle, but I don't expect there to be too many pit stops, especially at the front of the field, unless we get cautions close to the end of the stages. Mark Witkowski, thanks for tuning in. Frank Powers, Billy Kramer, Ricky Atkins, and Piastri Campeo. Hopefully I said your last name correctly. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'm not sure on the chat, and I don't even know if you guys can see it, but I'm seeing these crowns on there for community, and I don't know what that's for, to be completely honest. That must be a new feature added into these live streams. Obviously, this is the first live stream we've had on the channel since the Coke 600 last Sunday, so I have no idea what that's all about. Should be a good race. Picked Lane, for I knew Kyle Busch was going to race. His favorite would stand with Lane, Kyle second. Yeah, I'm taking Corey Heim. I mean, his truck was the quickest in practice by far earlier, over 1/10 of a second quicker, almost 2/10 quicker on his fastest lap versus Ty Majeski, who was second fastest. Majeski's been pretty good on either the short ovals or these concrete racetracks like Nashville, so I think he could have one of his better performances today, starting at the back of the pack. Definitely not going to be helpful right from the get-go. Caden Honeycutt was standing with Todd Bodine moments ago.
Mostly because it's not 95 degrees this time. It's a nice 75-degree day, but yeah, track feels really, really tight. Much tighter than what it was before. I'm not sure if it was from the resin that was sprayed, but if we had something going on with the truck. But I mean, we got top 10 speed in practice, but this team wants to win, so we made some adjustments right before the race. I trust Phil and all my guys to make those adjustments and hopefully go after the win tonight. I think the guy that starts next to me is going to go after the win. He was really fast, so I think we'll have a good shot at it. We'll just put ourselves in position and execute all day, and we'll be there.
All right, Caden Hednick.
Caden knows what's starting next to.
I don't know what Todd did. I think he tried to say Honeycutt there to finish it out. The fact that was pre-taped and they still aired it that far. Poor Todd. Doing Todd a disservice. Crown pop-ups on other show chats. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they are, to be completely honest. Bradley Thomas, thanks for tuning in. All right. Getting set for tonight's Truck Series race. Again, 150 laps is our scheduled distance. And we'll get the command to fire engines.
Grouping Michelle Boykin.
Drivers, start your Trucks are fired. All 32 truckers. They're ready to take on race number 12 from Nashville, Tennessee. We'll drop the green flag next.
Already the 5th year in NASCAR's return to the Nashville Super Speedway, the debut for the Cup Series back in 2021, and the returns for the Truck and the Xfinity Series side. We'll see Xfinity Series racing tomorrow night and the Cup Series race Sunday night, so triple header this weekend as far as Truck, Xfinity, and Cup action all at Nashville. And again, all under the lights this weekend as well for all 3 series. The afternoon practice into qualifying session will also be tomorrow live on the channel for the NASCAR Cup side, and that will begin at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Our start time for the Xfinity Series race tomorrow will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll go live for our pre-race coverage Sunday before the Cracker Barrel 400, the NASCAR Cup race at 6:30, beginning with our NASCAR trivia and the rest of the pre-race show. So I can't wait to bring you all the action throughout the course of the weekend. Yet again, busy weekend last week. Again, greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in throughout the entirety of the Indy 500 / Coke 600 race weekend, scheduling huge weekend on the channel, not only for the amount of streaming that we have, but the amount of people that showed up through all 3 days of action on the channel, all 6 streams that we had last weekend. So thank you to you guys for tuning back in here again tonight, and hopefully throughout the rest of the weekend and the rest of the season to come. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Jerry Marty, welcome to the stream as well. Taking the 11 tonight, 88 tomorrow, 5 on Sunday. Those are good picks. Those are definitely some good picks. I think Jesse Love is going to perform pretty good tomorrow. We have yet to see the Xfinity cars on track, so not sure how they're going to do for practice tomorrow, but Jesse Love seems to be pretty good at these relatively higher grip racetracks on the shorter ovals like Rockingham, which is probably the most similarly shaped racetrack to that of Nashville that the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series both ran on this year. Corey Heim had the fastest truck, in that Truck Series event, and not to mention, although he didn't get the win because of pit strategy, he still was able to get a top 10, pitting an extra time in the final stage, and one of the few cars that actually pitted and still remained in the lead lap at the end of the event. Tyler Ankrum was able to get the win on fuel mileage that day, so maybe he can have a quick run here today as well. Ankrum actually comes into this season second in the top 10s this year, tied for second at least with that of Grant Enfinger and Daniel Hemrick. Just still no wins to show for. He's tied for the most top 5s with Corey Heim as well at 7. 102 laps led puts him in the top 5 in that category. Only one stage win this year for Tyler Ankrum, but I think he could have a solid night. I don't think he's going to necessarily be one of the threats to win, but I could see him easily having another top 5 performance here this evening. And if Corey Heim does it too, he'll still stay matched for the rest of the year. Kyle Busch, the only Cup regular in the field, obviously going to be one of the favorites for this one as well. If you watch the Truck Series in recent weeks, Lane Riggs has been very fast over the last month. Same for Chandler Smith on the shorter ovals. Nashville considered an intermediate track, roughly a 1 1/3 mile oval, so not quite a mile and a half. It's about the shape of a Darlington Raceway by way of track length. Obviously wider than a Darlington. The shape of the racetrack from the wall down to the apron, that's where it's similar as a Rockingham. Rockingham roughly 1 mile racetrack though, so slightly higher speeds here as well. Won't be on for Sunday. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, hope to see you elsewhere, else time. 38 for the win, says Sergeant Bob. I think Chandler Smith is definitely going to have another good run tonight. This is a track that I think suits him and that team for how much speed they've had so far this year. I've noticed Lane Riggs has been quicker than Chandler Smith on the intermediate tracks this season, but then the shorter ovals is where Chandler Smith seems to have Lane's number, so this kind of being kind of a hybrid between both. I'm curious to see which of those front row Fords are the quickest. Irina Sayre, thanks for tuning into the stream. The raw feed is down for some reason at the moment, but the leaderboard on NASCAR.com is up and running. Try to log out, log into a different web page and see if that helps at all. Mentioned already, qualifying was rained out earlier, but practice was a full go. Lane Riggs could be in Cup in 2 to 3 years. Really like the career progression. I think he could be he's definitely got some stuff that he's got to work on. I think the speed is there, but there still needs to be a bit more maturing behind the wheel, in my eyes, in particular. I mean, he's had a couple of run-ins in the last month trying to go for race wins. I don't think that that's the right agenda. It's a good way to make enemies. And you make enemies with this kind of a playoff format, this kind of a points format, you're not going to be able to win a championship at season's end because one of those enemies is going to pop up at a wrong time and they're going to remember what you've done to them over the course of the year and they're not going to race you very fairly. And one race all championship, not going to be great. Knockout rounds as well, not going to be great, even if we don't have a one race championship going forward. Following this season, I know they're expected to change the points format at some point this year. We should get news on that by mid to late summer, for what I've heard on the rumor mill side of things for NASCAR. So hopefully we get an update on that sometime in the next few months. For viewing purposes, tonight's race is on Fox Sports 1. Per usual, with the Craftsman Truck Series being on the Fox family of networks. Big Fox a couple times this year, but FS1 for most of the races. Off till Tuesday. There you go. Billy will be with us all weekend. $25 likes on the stream already. Our goal's going to be to get to 100 tonight, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Oh, I didn't get the chat poll up. I got to do that real quick. Apologize for that. Still have to ask you guys who you think is going to win. Who will win truck race at Nashville? Heim. Put Lane Riggs. All right, so your voting options on the poll tonight: Kyle Busch, Corey Heim, Lane Riggs, or somebody other than those three will be tonight's voting options for the poll. That'll close at the end of stage 2. At least I got it up before the start of the race. Barely, because the lights are off on the pace car. They'll be going green this time by. Heim is elected the inside row for this initial start. "14 degrees of banking in the corners. Front stretch with the tri-oval. 9 degrees of banking. 6 on the back straightaway. Around this 1 1/3 mile oval. Again, our stage splits today will be 45, 45, and 60. Pace car onto pit road with its big left-hand turn. Fast left-hand turns coming up for the field as they get to speed into turn 1. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville Super Speedway. Great launch off the start for Corey Heim, side by side for second as they roll into turn 1 between Lane Riggs and the car on the outside of the front row, which was Caden Honeycutt. Riggs slides into him. Contact goes way up the racetrack. He's going to lose several positions, and they're 4 wide off turn 2, right around 4th place. Corey Day, Daniel Hemmer, Grant Enfinger, all to the inside of Riggs, who overdrove the first corner, trying to slide into second on Caden Honeycutt. Now Jake Garcia loses the front of his race truck on the inside, battling Riggs down towards turn 3 by the time they cross the stripe. Heim leads lap 1 at the front of the field. Lap 2 ongoing. The 44 almost drives it into the back of the 13 of Garcia. By the time they got to the corner entry of turn 1, Kyle Busch now to the inside of the 44, and caution is out for the first time already tonight on lap 2.
Hard, and they're nearly crashing.
Caution is out. Fluid in turn 1, we're being told.
Well, maybe that's why they were sideways.
That would definitely cost if that was the case. Some great saves though early on there, in terms of what was going on with Lane Riggs and them.
That's a great call, Regan. Lane, watch this. He loses this truck and goes up the hill and almost takes Caden Honeycutt with him. Turns it into the bottom. Everything's feeling good until it didn't.
You just see two trucks really close together right there, whether it was the fluid that the caution's for, or maybe the air, as you mentioned, Michael, one of the two things. But, a good job to recover right there and not cause that incident to be bigger than what it was.
Let's listen to Caden Honeycutt's radio.
You remember those things too, don't you, Regan? Somebody gets you in a bind, especially early in the race. It sticks in your memory. And let's look at that 45 truck as he's coming off turn 4 here. Those left side tires, the Goodyear lettering is rubbed off of them, so he could have potentially an issue.
Yeah, I want to be very cautious too, because where those trucks made contact, that's where the splitter, the Lane Riggs truck was, and you certainly don't want that to cut that tire down.
We're under caution here for the first time. Corey Heim out front. Corey Day with a nice move into second. We'll be back to Nashville.
As here on tonight's broadcast on the booth side of things for Fox Sports 1, Jamie Little, Regan Smith, and Michael Waltrip. First time we've seen Regan Smith in a booth, maybe ever. I know he's done, obviously, a lot of pit road work for NASCAR on Fox, but in the booth tonight for the truck race, so interested to see how that sounds at various times throughout the course of tonight's broadcast and tonight's stream on the channel. Fasten the seatbelts, yep. As Larry Mack used to say, reach up there, pull those belt ties one more time, because here we go. Look, Kyle Busch in the pole. Patrick, like, are you talking about yourself in third person here? Yeah, I think the poll is very biased most weeks when it comes to who you think is going to win or who will win each particular race. Whenever I have Kyle Larson in there, he's always voted for to win. It doesn't matter if he's bad at a track like Daytona or Talladega. Unless Chase Elliott's in the same poll with him. Same thing. I put Chase Elliott in a poll and he's going to win it. Dale Jr. was running an Xfinity Series race again this year. I'm sure he'll get voted for to win the race in a chat poll as well. It's kind of weird that the raw feed isn't working, so we don't have our usual stats on screen. Very limited moment. Corey Heim has led the first 4 laps in counting as we're under caution from fluid being on the racetrack, potentially that yellow flew on lap number 2. So Heim was able to lead a green flag lap, and now the last few under caution. Corey Day was able to drive up into second place. So he'll be right there with Heim off the start. Caden Honeycutt, after that contact in the first turn from Lane Riggs underneath him, is full in the third. Roger Cruth around 4th, Lane Riggs in 5th. Daniel Hemrick in 6th. Grant Enfinger 7th, Tyler Ankrum 8th, Jake Garcia 9th, Bailey Curry rounds out the top 10, then Ben Rhodes and Kyle Busch 11th and 12th. So that will be ensuing. Obviously, only having 1 green flag lap. Don't expect anybody to come down on the pit road and use up a set of tires. So should get going back racing here shortly. Once more, our light goal for tonight's stream is 100. And I'm in the middle of refreshing the stream page on my phone so I can get the chat back up and running. There we go. We got 33. We're a third of the way home already. Thank you guys for that. And again, be sure to vote in the chat poll for who you think is going to win the race. That will be closed at the end of stage 2. We'll have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2 as well for today's race. More live commentary streams to come. Doubleheader tomorrow, per usual on Saturdays, because most cup races are Sundays, and that means practice qualifying is the day before on Saturday, along with either the truck or Xfinity race, whoever's racing that weekend. Again, truck and Xfinity this weekend, so trucks tonight, Xfinity will be tomorrow. I'll be at Michigan International Speedway next Sunday for the NASCAR Cup race, but we will be live for all things action-wise on Saturday with the truck race as well as cup practice and qualifying that morning. So on the Saturday. So that's what to look forward to again next weekend. But on the channel, we got a full slate for you here this weekend on the live commentary side of things.
Found the culprit.
I would say that that is significant fluid in turn 1 right there, coming off of the Frankie Muniz number 33 truck. And
Ouch.
Man, unfortunate break for Frankie. Just, can't seem to catch a break.
Let's listen to his radio.
got all right for what it's worth. Really good for you. I just don't know if it's doing life anymore.
And we heard Stuart Friesen a couple of weeks ago say he wasn't even sure if he wanted to do this anymore. It's just, you put your whole heart and soul into things. You put so much effort into this event. This single event tonight means the world to these guys. And Frankie didn't even get a chance to get out there and learn anything. Or
What are you hearing?
Well, yeah, guys, you talk about it with Frankie. I saw him right before the race started, and the excitement and the anticipation for another race after the tough stretch he's had was beaming through. And then, of course, this happens early in the race. So I just checked with the team, and they said it looked like an oil line was knocked loose. That's why you see the oil that was on the track. You see it all over the back of that truck. They're checking to make sure it's not a bigger issue like a blown engine or anything like that. But certainly another tough break for Frankie as he tries to get some type of momentum going this season, guys.
Well, they're keeping him in the truck and they're cleaning it. So that's a good sign that perhaps, Michael, to your point, he could get out and actually learn a little bit and turn some laps tonight.
Yeah, what a beautiful truck, too, celebrating buying American veterans and just a great young racer trying to get his arms around this stuff. And you know, Regan, how tough it is. Been there.
Absolutely, Michael. It's the highest of highs and lowest of lows, right? And you know, you want to see Frankie get back out there and get just a few more laps, maybe.
As cleanup continues, we will step aside, take one more break. We'll have the restart coming up after this.
All right, Camp, thanks for tuning in as well. 7 laps in, all but one under caution. Well, now we know what the caution is for. We knew it was fluid on the racetrack. It looks like oil had been spewed pretty much all the way around this 1 1/3 mile oval out of the back of the 33 truck of Frankie Muniz. So he's obviously fallen off the lead lap. He is back in the garage area as his team goes to work on his race truck, and he is the only driver to drop out of or off the lead lap from this race. Time's going to be tough to beat as long as he's got the track position. He should have the truck to beat today. Again, fastest in practice. He had the fastest 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 25, and 30 lap averages in practice as well. Just a clean sweep across the board as well as the fastest overall time starting on the pole by way of the metric system. I'm sure he would have had a good shot to go for the pole otherwise as well, but didn't even have to for qualifying purposes, with qualifying having a rain out earlier, brief shower passed through the racetrack. So a green racetrack to start things off. Whatever rubber would have been laid down because of practice earlier this afternoon for the Truck Series, all gone by the time the race started with that rain shower. I haven't seen the Dale Sr. doc on Amazon Prime yet. I have not. I'll definitely have to check it out. Haven't given myself the ability to go through there during the week yet. Why do some people have the purple crowns on their name? I have no clue. I couldn't tell you. Is there a bot that's been messing with the group chat? Not today. Not today. Yeah, we had quite a few of them last week with the Indy 500 and Coke 600. I don't think we'll really see any for the truck race. We'll probably see more during the Cup race on Sunday, because it seems like they have something to do with the actual bigger races going on the weekend, and I don't think the Truck Series would highlight one of those big races. Big for us on the channel. Any kind of racing is big in my eyes, and we'll see how this goes. Joe Rochester, welcome into the stream. Going for the 88.
Truck sideways, and it was because there was a lot of oil laid down. And by a lot, I mean all around the racetrack. Let's take a look at Frankie Muniz at the moment that they took the green, we believe.
And you'll see him coming off the turn 4 here, and Frankie in the 33 truck there, you can see it literally, Michael, just spraying the oil out right there. And I believe this was coming to complete the first lap actually right here. And that is as thick as you're going to see oil come out of a truck or any racing vehicle at any moment right there.
You had to know it was leaking on the parade laps as well, which made turn one certainly very difficult, as we saw. We'll just have to see if when the track is all cleaned off, these guys can keep them straight thin. I've seen this story before. These guys really like to go 3-4 wide on these restarts, trying to get any ground they can get because of how short the race is. They know they got to go.
Well, that was a good sign. All the trucks took that hard left to get off the race track. Let's take a look now at the race analysis, Regan.
And we got 150 laps, Jamie, of which were already 9 laps completed with this early yellow that we had. 45, 50, and 55 are your stages. Very quick race, very short race. You're not going to have a lot of laps now in stage 1 to really adjust on your truck and understand what it's going to do on the long run. So you got to be perfect when you make these adjustments. And you see the fuel window right there, 58 to 63 laps. Very unlikely they will have to stop in that final stage. So you're going to have to be perfect tonight as we see they've done the choose and getting ready to come to the green.
And by perfect, we saw that last year. Christian Eckes led every single lap. Even though we had 7 cautions, he managed to be that dominant. So the question is, can Corey Heim do something like that? He's led all 9 laps so far. Plenty more racing.
It was wild last year.
Quick shout outs as well. A Benton, Ashton Smirkle. Smeekle. Sorry, there's no R in there at all. Aston Smeekle, welcome into the stream. Jeremy Granger Jr., Sid Vick, welcome in as well. Matthew Dorter Bruno, I see you as well. Thanks for tuning in. Trying to give you guys the shout outs here before we get back to racing green flag. Lap 2, caution for fluid on the racetrack of the back of the 33 truck of Frankie Muniz. To green will be Corey Heim leading us down to the green flag once again. Inside of row number 1, just as he was the initial start. Green flag in the air. Corey Day outside of row 1. Fires off pretty well. He's also got a nice push from his teammate Raja Karuth. Caden Honeycutt struggled to fire off out of the restart zone again, this time on the inside of row 2 behind our race leader. Side by side for the lead off of turn 2. Corey Day still hanging in there tough on the outside of our current points leader. And down to the bottom goes Raja Karuth to the apron as he gets blocked by Corey Heim. Corey Day up on the outside is going to have the lead off turn 4. So Corey Day taking the race lead early in this Craftsman Truck Series event at Nashville as he goes to work on our race leader Corey Heim on the restart. And now Corey Heim on the second lap after the restart looking to charge right back by him again. Heim to the outside for the lead through turns 1 and 2, and he's going to be clear off the exit of the corner. Quick work of Corey Day, who was able to lead 1 green flag lap in the event. Now Lane Riggs going for second to the inside of Day entering turn 3. Bottom of the racetrack, he's clear in the center of the corner. Corey may be going backwards. Raja Karuth underneath him got very loose on the bottom lane of the racetrack, was not able to complete a pass. Day holds on for third for the moment. But he's definitely backing up. It doesn't seem to be as quick as those that are just behind him, or obviously the 2 trucks who have quickly gotten by him since the restart. Karuth looking to the inside again of Day off turn 2, down the backstretch. Caden Honeycutt, the 45, going to try to squeeze right between the 2 trucks. There wasn't a lot of room there. He backed out of it on entry into 3. That probably was not going to work out very well. I didn't even think he had enough room to get his truck in there for the brief moment that he did before the braking zone and the entry of 3. Backed out of it enough. Kyle Busch on pit road now. Problems for the 07.
Serve his penalty, but you got to get him on the starts and restarts of the race, and that makes guys do things they wouldn't otherwise do sometimes.
There you see Lane Riggs on the left of the screen. He's second.
So it looks like a restart violation for Kyle Busch in the 07. Has to make a pass-through penalty. It'll be interesting to see if he stays on the lead lap or not. Again, this track just less than 1.5 miles in length. Busch on the access road through turns 1 and 2 right now. Corey Heim just on entry at speed into turn 1. Busch trying to get up to speed down the back straightaway. He's definitely going to stay in the lead lap. Still 31 laps to go yet in stage 1. We'll see what the pacing will be like with Busch compared to our leader Heim, if Corey can maybe catch him eventually before the end of the stage if we have a long enough green flag run and put him a lap down that way. But by way of the pass-through penalty itself, Busch hangs on to the lead lap for the time being. Lane Riggs is in the second spot, only 0.3 of a second off our race leader. Corey Heim has led every lap so far through the first 16 from the pole. Raja Kruth is 1.2 seconds off the lead in third. Corey Day still holding on to fourth at 2.3 seconds back. And Caden Honeycutt's 2.9 seconds off the lead, rounding out the top 5. Most laps gained since the lap 11 restart. Chandler Smith is up 5 positions. 4 for Connor Mosack and Lane Riggs. Riggs obviously up to 2nd. And then Ty Majeski, Stuart Friesen up 3. So again, that wasn't the initial start of the race, but from the lap 11 restart after we spent 8 laps under caution. 2 lead changes so far. I said that Corey Himes led every lap from the start of the race. I was wrong about that. Corey Day led 1 lap on the restart. So 16 laps led for Himes, 1 for Day. And obviously losing the lead and then getting it back the next lap were the 2 lead changes for Himes. Other than that, though, he's staying strong at the front of the field, but Lane Riggs is keeping pace with him. In that last lap, Lane Riggs is actually a bit quicker than our leader, a 30.59 for Riggs compared to the lap time of Himes being a 30.717. We'll see if Riggs can keep that pace up as we get into the longer run, and maybe Himes might be able to conserve his tires just a little bit more. Until the raw feed becomes available on NASCAR.com, I'm not going to be able to check the fastest laps of the race necessarily and compare them to other drivers in the field and see how much tire fall off we've had. Lap 20 this time by. Riggs has a nice run on Himes. Riggs has clean air to the bottom of the racetrack and up off the exit of turn 4. They're going to be nose-to-nose for the lead. Corey Himes on the outside. Lane Riggs down low on the bottom. Riggs leads that lap at the line, and that will be another lead change. He's got a nose out in front, but he's not clear yet. Circuiting off of turn 2 on the following lap, Riggs will slide up, and he'll be plenty clear of Corey. We'll definitely see the groove widen out over the course of the weekend on this concrete surface at Nashville as well. But again, starting with a relatively green racetrack after qualifying got rained out following practice earlier, it is going to be a primarily 1 to 1.5 groove track, at least for the first half of this truck race, maybe even the entire night. So Riggs being able to hook up the bottom lane of the track near that yellow line, a lot better than Corey Himes, is working wonders for him. He took the lead the last lap, and now he's slightly getting away. Raja Kruth looking pretty quick back there in third also. He's less than a second off the race lead. That last time by, he was about as quick as Corey Himes on the lap time sheet. Not as quick as our leader, Lane Riggs. Honeycutt to the inside of Corey Day for 4th place. Off turn 4, trying to hang on that left rear corner panel. Big block by Day. Bottom of the track, and now Honeycutt's going to beat the 7 to the outside. And if he can carry the momentum up off turn 2, he should be able to clear, and does. So Caden Honeycutt back up to 4th after starting 2nd. And Corey Day, who had that blistering fast start, and then the restart after that to take the lead for a brief moment, has fallen now to 5th. He's got Daniel Hemrick just a couple truck lengths behind him, and then a bigger gap back to the 7th place truck of Grant Enfinger. So although Corey Day not necessarily going for points in the truck series because he's not running full time, still looking to get up in the top 5 right now, maybe hold on for a top 10 spot at the end of stage 1. I think Corey Day just needs to get to the end of the race, see all the laps, because he's wrecked out of a lot of the Xfinity and Truck Series action he's had so far this season and in his young stock car racing journey. Stay in the lead lap, complete all the laps, I think is the big thing here. And obviously if he can show and impress with the top 10, which so far he's doing, even better. T-Van, welcome into the stream. Welcome back. Side-by-side commercial break right now on FS1. 22 laps to go in the opening stage. Riggs' lead is about 0.8 of a second over Corey Himes, as we are down to about 21 laps to go in this opening stage now. And Raja Kruth, who was less than a second off the lead just a couple laps ago, is now 1.9 seconds back in third. A 5.4 second difference to Caden Honeycutt in 4th. 6.4 seconds to Corey Day, rounding out the top 5 in 5th. And then 6th place is Daniel Hemrick at 7.6 seconds off the lead. Grant Enfinger's an even 9 seconds back at 7th. Bailey Curry in 8th is 9.5 seconds back. Tyler Ingram 10.2 back in 9th. And Ben Rhodes is 11 seconds off the lead, rounding out the top 10. It's crazy that 10th place is 11 seconds off the lead, knowing that we restarted from that opening caution only 17 laps ago. Shane Richards, welcome into the stream. Who's winning? Lane Riggs out in front right now. Bond 1771, welcome into the stream. Greetings to you as well. We'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC, Craftsman Truck Series Rackley Roofing 200 and Nashville Super Speedway. Obviously, a lot of action to go here tonight. Kyle Busch again had the restart violation, so he dropped from about 12th place to the tail end of the lead lap, but he is still on the lead lap, which is important. He's gained a couple more positions on some lap trucks who have fallen a lap down. Akadori Ogata's fallen off the lead lap. Kyle Busch has also passed Tony Breidinger for position. Obviously, Frankie Muniz has been in the garage area since the opening lap. He was the reason for the opening caution. Wasn't an incident per se, but oil leakage on the racetrack, warranting NASCAR to throw the yellow, clean the track up, get some speedy dry out there, and ever since then, Muniz has still been in the garage area, but he did remain in his race truck, so they're going to try to make the fix and get him some laps before the end of the night. Zachary Powers, welcome to the stream.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from Nashville Super Speedway. Lane Riggs is out front leading for the first time in his career at Nashville. Well, we've been keeping an eye on his teammate, Chandler Smith. He is on the move forward up 7 spots. Chandler in the 38 right there.
Yeah, we knew it would happen pretty quick, Jamie, for him. And, you know, you got to imagine you got a teammate up there leading the race. Those two trucks, although they might be different in setups based on what each driver wants, they've still got the same stoke element to them all. And I would expect to keep seeing Chandler move up through the field here and gain that track position just based on what we're seeing out of Lane Riggs alone.
Good start of this race, too, for William Wallace. That one truck had some solid speed as Chandler closed on him, but Will has been able to hold him off in that sound year number 1. And he's right behind his teammate, Joe Ruggiero. So many great young racers that are here for us to watch and at times marvel over. There you see the 13 of Jake Garcia did report from pit road that maybe his shifter handle has broken completely off, Regan.
That's gonna be an issue, Michael. If indeed that if it's completely gone and he has nothing to grab there, they're gonna have to find a way to put something on there just so he could shift that truck and get through restarts and get through pit road and the other things that he needs to do.
We talked about solid run so far. Another one for Ben Rhodes. Been a struggle bus for this team, but talked to Rich Lucius earlier today, and he felt really confident about what they've had. So maybe tonight's the night. Up to the top 10.
It's been a good track for Ben as well, and you know you would expect Ben's a champion, right? And I know there's been some struggles as of late, but you expect him to find a way to get it done in some capacity, one way or another. There's a great battle behind him between Luke Fenhouse and Dawson Sutton right there.
I like what Sutton's doing early. If he can just hold it under and here on the bottom, he's going to get loose and hits that bump, as we talked about how difficult that is.
I love it. That's a battle for 20th. Yeah. They're just laying on each other.
Right behind them, Stuart Friesen is saying, come on, boys, keep them heading in the right direction.
Luke Fenhouse, that 66 truck doesn't get an opportunity every week, but he's up in Sandusky, where Thor Sport is, putting in the time, making the effort. He wants to make this a full-time ride. So I just can't imagine a driver that you don't get the opportunity every week, but when you do, you're trying your darndest to put on your best foot forward so that you can land that ride full-time next year.
Side by side again, another lap. Great battle here.
Sure seemed like Dawson Sutton had a bunch of friends and family all at the racetrack on pit road earlier.
Let me hear right there, Dawson, as he tried to throttle up. He didn't want to get back to the gas too soon because he couldn't use the whole track, and that's what makes it so difficult to pass. Now you're going to have a truck on the outside of you right here. And you see the bump, you see the trucks top around right there. just adding to the element of you're probably already a little too tight in the center of the corner. You know it's going to push all the way out in the corner, and you got to be so careful with that truck on the outside.
Kyle Busch, I said you'd have to make that unscheduled stop and lose a lap. Well, he hasn't lost it yet, but he's the next truck to go a lap down. Last time by, he was about 0.8 of a second slower than our leader, Lane Riggs.
We had a restart violation. The 07 truck. See him on the outside bottom of your screen.
Moves out, struck in line, and he just ducks out just a little bit too soon before the start finish line, and you just can't do that. You got to cross the start finish line before you move over there. And the good news is Kyle is still on the lead lap. There was a little bit of thought that maybe he wouldn't be enough. And looking up and looking at his lap times, he's running some decent lap times if he can stay ahead of Lane Riggs here and clear some of this traffic that's in front of him.
NASCAR, we have a competition call with them each week, and they've been adamant about telling the drivers that you must stay in line until you cross the start-finish line. Kyle was clearly out of line, and NASCAR called that penalty. They talk to the drivers about that weekly and make sure they understand.
So Tyler Ankrum in the 18 get around the 44. The 44 got loose right here.
See what happens to Bailey Curry. Octorio Gata, there's the lap truck. A lot of traffic here, Regan.
A lot of traffic, and certainly end up 3 wide here, split Nakanori.
It's Tony Brightinger.
Just a tough angle into the corner for Bailey Curry there, and
then he tries to keep it off of Grant
Enfinger. And that is a great save. That's 2 guys that were battling for position, right? And just trying to find a way around the lap trucks. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for Bailey, but it worked out from the
Yeah, that wasn't the way to do
the
it.
truck, and it's still rolling forward right now.
And he's still ninth.
Yeah, and he's running in the top 10. So we're just going to use that as a lesson, and we'll make sure we don't get in a bind like that again, maybe.
Well, Tyler Ankrum just ahead of him is on the march as well. A couple of top 10s here at this track for Tyler Ankrum, and what a season it's been. One of the most consistent drivers in the field. Meanwhile, up front, Lane Riggs continues to lead by just under a second over Corey Hine. Josh?
We know there's so many tracks that Corey Hine really excels, and his numbers here at Nashville are actually really good. But when I talked to him earlier today, he told me he's never truly left his track and been happy with the performance. So they went to work, him watching film and the team trying to figure out where they can be better. Came back this year and they connect the two to the racetrack a little bit better, but he gave up that lead to Lane Riggs, came over the radio and saying, yeah, the truck feels similar to it did in practice, but I just don't have the raw speed I need. And that truck has been getting tighter and tighter as this run has gone on. So he's going to need a little help to get this truck back to where it needs to be to catch that thing before this.
Well, the good news is he's going to get some help. Only 5 laps left here in stage number 1.
Look who Lane Riggs has caught, trying to put the 07 a lap down. Matt Crafty just ahead of him. Lane might have trouble holding off Corey Hine with this really competitive traffic in his windshield.
None of these guys are going to want to go a lap down. We know how hard they're going to battle. And certainly there is points and playoff points on the line as we get towards the end of this stage here. So we're going to do everything they can, and it's going to bring Corey Hine back into the battle. I'm sure we'll see him popping into the screen here just a little bit as he's starting to close in again.
Well, we talk all the time about the dominance of Corey Hine's stage wins. Lane Riggs desperately wants to win this stage and not let Corey Hine continue to be the story. But now he's on the inside of Kyle Busch, and Kyle's not giving him much room.
Corey Hine, 8 stage wins this year alone.
Wow, look at these two.
This is what you normally see up front. Kyle Busch battling Lane Riggs, but now they're battling just to stay on the lead lap for Kyle Busch in the 07.
What's going to be difficult for Lane here is it looks like he can get the runs and go to the bottom and try and pass these guys, but he can't complete the pass. And he's going to have to watch out the mirror and see Corey Hine behind him, understand exactly where he is, because he doesn't want to get himself in a position to where he's inside of one of these trucks.
Oh, Busch got loose.
Gets the run on the outside, because then he gives up those points that are so important that we're talking about. But this might be the run here that gets it done.
It was almost, it looked like Kyle got a little loose and washed up the track, and there goes Lane Riggs. Still can't clear him, though.
No, I like what Lane did on that last lap. He ran the middle of the racetrack, got a really strong run. We know he's much faster than Kyle, but can he hold off and win the stage? He's going to
Oh, boy.
Slap.
Bad angle into the corner.
Stage one. Corey Heim is all over him. Can Lane Riggs hang on here and pick up the stage win?
I think he's got it now.
She's hanging just ahead of Lane Riggs. Does he have enough time, guys?
It's over.
I think Lane's got this one.
Lane Riggs, third career stage win. Corey Heim is right there for second. Raja Caruth, Daniel Hemrick, and Caden Honeycutt round out your top 5 in stage number 1.
Bush barely holds on to the lead lap.
Lane Riggs. He's led 27 laps so far. Pit stops are coming up next.
Yep, first pit stops of the race coming up shortly. Lane Riggs has led the most laps and goes on to win stage number 1. Second place for Corey Heim, who led 17 laps in the opening stage from the pole. Raja Caruth third with no laps led. Daniel sixth in stage 1. Tyler Ankrum 7th. Grant Enfinger 8th. Bailey Curry 9th. And Ben Rhodes rounds out the top 10. 1 point per position, playoff point going to Lane Riggs for winning the stage. It's the third stage win of the year for Riggs. And we'll see if he can get his first race win of the year here tonight at Nashville. He didn't win last year until the playoffs started. He didn't qualify for the playoffs in his first full-time season in trucks. So this year, looking for a shot at the championship and trying to get a win that can lock him in to a race for the championship before the regular season's out. Whitesides, thanks for tuning in. Vote for Heim until I saw KB was in it. Yeah, we'll take a look at that chat poll. Corey Heim at 45 votes is leading the poll. 40% of those 45 votes going to him. 27% of you are taking Kyle Busch. Now 28%. 28% are now taking Kyle Busch. 17% taking somebody other than Heim, Riggs, or Busch. And Lane Riggs at just 15% after winning stage 1. We'll see if that voting poll will go up. Again, that will stay open until the end of stage number 2. Heim was second. Kyle Busch was outside the top 20 after having the pass-through penalty following the restart at lap 11. Jumped from that outside lane a little too early before the start-finish line. I don't think he's got race winning speed considering he was getting ran down, almost fell off the lead lap after cycling quite a ways out ahead of the leaders. Not quite a ways. He was a few seconds ahead, but he lost that few second gap. Clayton Green will get the free pass in 26. He was the first truck a lap down at the time of the stage 1 caution, which was lap 45. Again, this would be our second yellow of the night. So Busch barely holding on to the lead lap and him battling Lane Riggs in that last lap and a half, almost costing Riggs a chance to win that opening stage. Corey Heim is closing very fast from behind, but he wasn't able to get it done yet. Stu, welcome into the stream. Is this on Prime? No, only the Cup Series is on Prime. Trucks are still on Fox and Fox Sports 1. That will not change. They are on FS1 all year. Xfinity Series on CW all year, but the Cup rotates. Cup Series will be on Prime for the next few weeks yet. 4 more weeks of Prime for the Cup Series, and then they will be on TNT for 5 weeks after that. Here's to see what the NASCAR bracket challenge is going to look like with that extra, what is it, $1 million on the line? It's either $1 or $2 million, but yeah, on the line for winning that tournament. Seeding started last weekend at Charlotte. Basically the best average finish and ranking of the top 32 in points through the 4 races ran. 5 races, I should say, on Amazon Prime ran. Charlotte through Pocono will dictate the seeding side of things there. So if you're the hottest driver in NASCAR through that 5-week period, then you'll be the number 1 seed going up against the driver who had the worst average finish of those 32. Well, you don't have to pay for Prime if you don't want to. You can always tune in live right here on the channel. We'll be live every weekend. Pit road is going to be open this time. Riggs leads them in.
Yeah, the 34 Lane Riggs, he started this race with only 4 laps on a brand new truck. Thought the truck was pretty good at practice, really didn't know. Obviously, it's good. He's a little free by himself and a little tight in traffic. I don't know that you can get much better balance than that. Josh?
Well, Rajah Cruz in that 71 machine, he said he's overall pretty loose when it comes to the bounce, but doesn't want to be tightened up anymore, so he just needs a better restart because he feels he's better than the truck in front of him. For the 11 of Corey Heim, he said fired off 3. It got too loose towards the end of that run, and air pressure adjustment for the 11 team to help him out.
Yeah, you could see Josh there was struggle on the right front of Lane Riggs, and look at the position this cost him. He'll come out third.
The Raja Karut's team getting it done. Gains
Yeah, Caruth wins the race off of pit road. Heim was second. Lynn Riggs falls out of the lead back to third. Spot loss for Daniel Hemrick. 2 spots gained for Bailey Curry and 2 for Gio Ruggiero in the 17. 1 spot loss for Tyler Ankrum. So that was some of the movement throughout the top 10. Everybody taking 4 tires on their way to pit road for the first stop of the night. So again, end of stage 1 here. Stage 2 will still be 45 laps in length, just like the opening stage was in stage 3, 60. But they do not have to pit for fuel purposes throughout each stage, as our fuel window tonight will be just over 60 laps. And our final stage, of course, 60 laps. As far as NASCAR on Prime goes, if you guys are not aware as far as where you can watch, visually, or you don't want to pay for Prime, they do have a 30-day free trial. If you were to sign up tomorrow, the 30 days would take you through the next 4 NASCAR Cup races, which would be the last 4 races on Prime because they only had 5 total. Cancel the subscription after that. So, I mean, basically, if you just have internet, you could still watch NASCAR for free for the next 4 weeks. So that is an alternative. I know it doesn't necessarily help you out for the years to come, but at least it gets you through the next month. And obviously, you don't have to keep it as well. I think if you have a regular like Amazon Prime account, I think it does count for Prime Video because I'm pretty sure that's how I got in at the beginning of the season because I do have Amazon Prime already. I just never watched their streaming side of it. Thursday Night Football, I would really only watch if my Packers were playing, but I already had it beforehand for that reason. But if you were looking to sign up, there is a 30-day free trial on there. So figured I'd let you know. I know there's a lot of people that watch the channel on a regular basis, and some of you maybe are not going to be watching the actual Cup races as they're going on here for the next few weeks. NASCAR's been racing since 1949. I don't think they're going to end soon. Mr. Cody 26, thanks for tuning in. Is that the Cody that's blowing up my phone at the racetrack right now? Is that the same Cody? Maybe it's not. I'm a cheesehead? Yes, I'm a cheesehead. Since the day I can remember. I haven't been to Lambeau yet, but I have been to a few Packers games. Whenever they come up to Detroit, I try to catch them because that's not a very far drive for me, and they play in the same division. Yeah, I'll have to check out the videos that you sent me after the stream tonight. I've seen of them. Oh, cool, Frank. Yeah, NASCAR is going to be around for a while. I saw the Money Lap podcast clip from Parker Kligerman and Landon Castle a couple weeks ago after the Kentucky Derby when Parker Kligerman made a comment that like some people think that motorsports is like gonna like disappear or something like sometime down the line. He's like, I think the Kentucky Derby proved this weekend that horses haven't been a pure form of transportation in almost 100 years, and they're still out there doing their thing every weekend. Yeah, motorsports isn't going to go anywhere. As long as they have the funding. I mean, honestly, the big thing with it, if you really think about the money side of it, that helps keep it funding. These TV contracts have a lot to do with it, especially with the way sports work nowadays. So having a partner like Prime wanting to fork over billions of dollars as a part of the contract to air just 5 races of NASCAR does help the sport. While it might hurt the current viewership for some people, it does help keep the sport afloat, and it does grow onto new eyes as far as the younger fan side of things because streaming is the way of the future. I haven't had cable I mean, not since, my parents had it when I was growing up. I got them into streaming, man, it was probably like around high school, maybe just after high school. Probably just after high school, I would say. Good 5-6 years ago. I pretty much had Hulu or YouTube TV ever since. 5-6 years. It's way more affordable than cable, and you get all the same channels. It's slightly delayed. So if there's maybe more of a delay on, say, tonight's race, Fox Sports 1 compared to usual for the streaming side of things, and what you're listening to, what you're maybe watching, if you're trying to sync the audio from the stream up, then that would be the only downside of it, but you're only seeing it like 30 seconds later than everybody else. Green flag is in the air after Roger Kruth won the race off pit road. He'll lead the field into turn 1. Corey Heim on the outside of row number 1 did not fire off quite as well as the car underneath him, and Kruth is clear by about 2 to 3 truck lengths down the backstretch. Lane Riggs is in 4th. Caden Honeycutt got by him on the restart. Couple of trucks 3 wide, right around Daniel Hemrick, who's in the middle. Lane closed up right in front of him with Tyler Ankrum and the 44 Bailey Curry battling for position. Kruth is out in front for the first time today. This is the first lap that he has led under green flag conditions. He led 4 during the caution flag post pit stops as well. And he's got about a 4/10 of a second lead off turn 2 down the backstretch, and as they roll into turns 3 and 4, we'll have 95 laps to go this time by. Kyle Busch on his way. We're to the front of the field. Trouble just behind him. The 91 is around. That's Jack Wood. And another truck, the 63. I believe that was Akinori Ogata, who had backed it up into the outside wall, trying to miss the spinning Wood. It was Ogata. Caution flag is out for the 3rd time today. Our first crash. No damage on the 91 of Wood. He was able to make the save with a lazy spin. Unfortunately for Ogata, when he slid sideways in the aftermath of the Wood spin, he unfortunately backed it up into the outside wall in turns 3 and 4. Quite a bit of damage to the 63. Ogata was off the lead lap. Not sure exactly how Wood lost his race truck. There was a 3-wide battle in front of him with Kyle Busch, Ty Majeski, and Matt Mills. And then Wood tried to follow the gap that Busch left open after Busch cleared the 2 trucks to the outside. Wood made slight contact with the left rear corner panel of Majeski's truck. Around he went. Didn't take much. Tanner Gray almost ran right into the side of Luke Fenhouse in the 66, trying to miss the spinning 91 through the center of turns 3 and 4. Got the live updates. Appreciate you tuning in from the racetrack. Definitely a lot going on. Not a long race, obviously, as most truck races are. Just 150 laps on a shorter than mile-and-a-half racetrack here tonight. Not going to make for a longer event. And again, we shouldn't see green flag pit stops because of how short each of these 3 stages are. Kyle Busch watched, though. He gained 8 positions on that last restart from 25th to 17th. He was just in front of the incident that took place on track. Again, Wood should be able to continue, and he should stay on the lead lap as well. Ogata, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to continue with the damage to the back of his truck. And he was already off the lead lap. Now he's losing more. Spencer Boyd in 27th will get the free pass as being the first truck, 1 lap down at the time of the incident. So he'll be back out there in the lead lap, and Roger Kruth is still the leader. Buys him a little bit more time under the yellow. Corey Heim remains in the 2nd place position. Then you got Caden Honeycutt in 3rd, Lane Riggs 4th, Corey Day in 5th. 6th, 7th, 8th would be Bailey Curry, Tyler Ankrum, and Daniel Hemrick. 5 lead changes now, 17 laps under yellow, and this is our 3rd caution already today, but our first accident of the race. We're just past halfway to our like goal of 100 for the stream. We're at 51. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more weekly NASCAR content on the channel. Live race commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend. This is our first of 4 streams over the course of these 3 days, Friday through Sunday, for Nashville Super Speedway action. We'll be live for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Just before that, we'll also be live for NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying at 4:30 in the afternoon, all Eastern times. Sunday for the Cup Series race and our main event, primetime Sunday night NASCAR. Here we go. 2 weeks in a row, primetime Sunday night racing. And this weekend we'll start our coverage off about an hour later than last with a 200-mile shorter length race than what we saw for NASCAR's longest event last week, the Coke 600. So 6:30 p.m. start there. .707.17 wins, partying downtown Nashville tonight. There you go. It'll be a long night. I did see Rockingham was for sale. I saw that headline earlier in the week. I would assume NASCAR and or SMI will probably buy them out. Richard Carr Sr., welcome to the stream. Waiting the next restart, we'll take a quick break of our own here. Again, you're listening live. KRC, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action continues. Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville. Chat poll's getting closer, by the way. Corey Heim is leading the way at 40% of the votes for a while. We've got 53 votes in our chat poll, and it's a deadlock tie between Busch and Heim at 34%. Lane Riggs, who is still led the most laps and also won Stage 1, he's currently in fourth, has 15% of the votes, 17% for somebody other than those three. Chat poll will end at the end of Stage 2, which would be lap 90, 30 laps from now. 1 to go signal has been given. They'll be going green this time. Raja Krut inside of row 1 as the restarter, or the driver controlling the restarts, has taken the inside of row 1 all night so far. And has all had the lead either getting into or coming out of turn 1, except for the one time Corey Day actually was able to get a run off turn 2 on Corey Heim, cleared him into 3 and 4. Granted, had Heim not had Raja Karut trying to go 3 wide to the bottom underneath him on the back straightaway and then throwing a big block down there, I don't think that Heim would have lost the lead today. That little bit of a side draft and momentum swinging down the racetrack slowed him down enough that the truck who was on the outside and had the run with the progressive banking from the top of the track, Corey Day, was able to clear at the time being. Rockingham, a beautiful racetrack. Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I would definitely like to at some point. Move down to North Carolina, definitely be more feasible down the road. Won't be too far of a haul for me from that point. All right, green flag is in the air. Karut spun his tires on the restart. Corey Heim, a good launch on the outside, is actually going to beat the leader to the line. That is not a penalty. Karut launched first, but he couldn't get the rear grip needed to carry the momentum into turn 1, and he is going to lose the lead as a result. Heim is all clear off the exit of the corner. Lane Riggs back up to third, and he's got to run after Karut for second. 3 wide for fifth. Grant Enfinger to the bottom, shooting to the inside of the 44. Bailey Curry gets by him. Corey Day on the outside will hold on to fifth for the time being. Riggs has a big run on Karut, who had to lift in the center of the corner. Second half of it looked like he got tight in the wake of the dirty air behind our leader. Riggs trying to grind it out for that spot, but he's not able to make a move through 1 and 2 either. Enfinger putting some distance between himself and the 44 of Curry, who he passed on the opening lap after the restart. Our top 5 with 33 laps to go in Stage 2 has Corey Heim out in front, Raja Karut second, Lane Riggs third, Caden Honeycutt fourth, and Corey Day in fifth. Tim Fowler, welcome to the stream. As well as many others who have been watching throughout the course of tonight's live commentary action. Kyle Busch on this last restart was in 17th, and he is up 3 spots to 14th already in just a few laps. I think the goal for Busch, get up to about 7th or 8th before the end of Stage 2. Just to have a chance, depending on how cautions may fall in the final stage. Still not sure on exactly how much tire wear, because the raw feed that we would usually use hasn't been working throughout the course of this stream. I haven't tried to open up a new web page here in a couple minutes. Let me try to check that real quick and see if we've got anything going for ourselves. It's really hard to look at the lap time fall off when you don't have lap time. I have the last lap speed, but I don't know where they were at on their fastest laps or what lap they ran their quickest. So I'm not sure if the track itself is getting quicker or not. You would expect it to on a night race if track temps are just going to continue to cool into the nighttime sky. Busch is now battling with Friesen in the 52 just outside the top 10. Battle for 15th, actually. Busch lost a couple spots to Majeski and Friesen over the last couple laps. Jake Garcia battling for position with Daniel Hemrick. That battle is for 9th. Garcia will take over that spot as he is cleared up on the high side. Barely, nope. I think he had a chance to clear, but he cut the 19 a lot of slack. Raced him very clean. Hemrick had enough of a run off turn 2. He's able to hang on the right rear corner panel of Garcia's side draft, and they'll do the same thing off turn 4. And Garcia not aggressive enough with the side draft on the left rear of Hemrick. Hemrick's going to be clear. Garcia was more worried about what was going on just behind him as he was throwing some major blocks on the front stretch to that of Dawson Sutton. Garcia had a bit of a wiggle through turns 1 and 2 as well. Wonder if Sutton might have taken a little bit of the air off the rear spoiler, being close behind the 13. He never made contact with him, but you can definitely tell Garcia was a bit loose. More rear grip through 3 and 4, and he'll pull back away from Sutton by another truck length or 2. Through the front stretch, 0.8 of a second lead for Corey Heim over Raja Carruth, who got back out in front on the last restart. Heim has now extended the amount of laps led to 27, only 3 behind Riggs, who has led 30 laps tonight. Riggs is a second and a half off the race lead. That last lap, Raja Carruth was actually the quickest on track with a 30.48. Now Riggs, this time by the line, at 30.49, had the quickest lap. So quicker than Heim the last 2 laps, but not by much, just a few hundredths of a second, if that, on both laps for the 71 and the 34 compared to our leader. Heim had about the second or third quickest truck on that long run back in stage 1. He finished second in the stage. Carruth was closing in late, and he had nothing for Lane Riggs up until they got into lap traffic, and then Riggs' truck started to struggle a bit there. So as he's in traffic now after losing 2 positions on pit road, fell to 5th on the first restart of the stage, got a couple spots back on the last one, settles in 3rd. Having those couple trucks in front of him, it could be a little harder for Riggs. Now working with maybe more dirty air like he was on the lap traffic side of things towards the end of the opening stage. 6 lead changes now, and still the 3 yellows. Lap 95, again, will be the end of stage 2. 45, 50, and 55 laps. The stage splits today, not 45, 45, and 90, so I apologize for that. Stage 2, 5 laps longer than stage 1, and stage 3 is 5 laps longer than stage 2. Carruth trying to close the gap on our leader, Corey Heim. Raja only has 1 career Craftsman Truck Series win. It was last season in the spring at Las Vegas. It was only the 3rd race of the year last year that he had gotten the win, so it's been a little more than a season. Well, meanwhile, Corey Heim has dominated the Truck Series of wins. He has 4 already this year. Only other driver with more than 1 is Chandler Smith, who has 2, and Smith's been nowhere near the front of the field today. I don't even think he's cracked the top 10 yet. Looking on the leaderboard here, I don't even think he's in the top 20. Unless I'm skipping over him. Yeah, 22nd right now for Chandler Smith, which is pretty amazing to think, because Lane Riggs has been in the top 3 pretty much this whole race. He won the opening stage, but Chandler Smith has not had anywhere near the speed that the 34 camp has, despite the fact that they are teammates. Carruth another couple hundredths quicker than Heim that last lap. Riggs the quickest truck on track again. That was by a little bit more than 1/10 of a second to the 2 vehicles in front. Corey Day's done a great job. He is in fifth, and he's put some separation on himself between him and Enfinger in sixth behind him. Definitely the best, at least first half of a race to Corey Day's Truck Series career. He qualified on the pole at Las Vegas earlier this year, but then dropped like a rock from the get-go. He does have one top 10 finish. It was a 10th. Well, maybe he can have his first top 5 here tonight, the way things are going. He fires off well in the restarts, and he holds off good enough on the long run. Obviously not the quickest truck out there, but Spire Motorsports has some good equipment here today. Between Corey Day in fifth and Raja Kruth is led. And currently he's in second, 10 laps led for Raja as he's led 2 different times. We shall see. Meanwhile, at Spire Motorsports, it seems like Kyle Busch has struggled with his truck tonight. 17th place in the 07. He got up to 14th on the last restart. He did have a restart lane violation back at stage 1, so that put him at the back of the pack. He started 12th, but hasn't cracked the top 10 yet. And the lap time just doesn't seem to be there for Busch here this evening. Commercial break currently airing on Fox Sports 1 with 19 laps to go in stage 2. We'll go through the full field running order now as we're in the second half of stage 2 and just into the second half of the race, couple laps past halfway tonight. Corey Heim has led for 36 laps from the pole, most. He's got a 1 second lead over Raja Kruth as well. Lane Riggs is also about a second back, battling for that second spot. They're side by side. Riggs has scored in third at the line that last time. Caden Honeycutt's in fourth. Corey Day rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Sixth place is Grant Enfinger, Bailey Curry 7th, Tyler Ankrum 8th, Daniel Hemrick 9th, and Jake Garcia is in 10th. 11th for Dawson Sutton. Ben Rhodes in 12th. Ty Majeski 13th. Stuart Friesen 14th, and Giovanni Ruggiero in 15th. Andres Perez is 16th. Kyle Busch 17th. Connor Mosack 18th. Tanner Gray 19th and 20th for William Sawalich. Chandler Smith 21st. Luke Fenhouse 22nd. Jack Wood, after his spin, is still in the lead lap at 23rd. Matt Mills 24th, and the 3-time champ Matt Crafton struggling tonight, 25th for him. Spencer Boyd 26th. Clayton Green 27th. Tony Breidinger currently the first truck a lap down at 28th. Tyler Tomasi 29th, and Nathan Bird 30th. Akinori Ogata still in the race following his crash, which was the same lap as the Wood spin, same incident in fact. Has quite a bit of damage to the back of his truck, but he is on track 4 laps down. And Frankie Muniz is still the only driver out. Had the oil line break on the opening lap of the race. Unfortunately, he completed that 1 lap, then came into the garage. So Muniz scored in last and will end up with the last place finish here tonight. Lane Riggs, during the middle of that rundown, was able to get by Raja Kruth for second place. He hasn't closed the gap enough on Corey Heim to this point. We'll see how that continues on, as we'll take another break for the moment. Late stage 2, you're listening live on KRC. Craftsman Truck Series Rackley Roofing 200 from Nashville Super Speedway. Delbert Wilson, welcome into the stream. Another newcomer into the chat here recently. Appreciate you tuning in. Corey Heim trying to go for his 9th stage win of the season. Lane Riggs, who's looking to double down on the stage wins here in Nashville tonight, is slightly closing the gap, or at least was. He got to within 0.8 of a second in the lead, and then that last lap, the gap was open right back up again to about 1.5 seconds. I think Riggs had a bit of a hiccup. There were a few lap trucks between himself and our leader. Riggs running on the inside of one of them. Off of turn 2, that route is starting to gain a bit of ground. That 34 just struggles in traffic. That's what I've diagnosed. He has not gotten through lap traffic well at all tonight. He's barely able to hold on for the stage 1 win, and here in stage 2, he's losing time to Heim only because of the lap traffic. Head-to-head, I think he is a little bit quicker. But that loss of track position, losing the race off pit road at the end of stage 1 has definitely hurt him in his ability to be able to take control and lead the race again. So his picker's definitely going to have to do a much better job here at the end of stage 2 to at least maintain his track position and not lose him any more spots because it took him quite some time just to get back into second up until a few laps ago, and he only fell as far back as fifth. 11 laps to go in the second stage this time by at the line. Last lap time within a few hundredths of a second between Heim and Riggs. Heim a little bit quicker. 31.0 for Corey Day. Day was actually the quickest truck on track the last lap. Probably had a little bit more clean air than our leaders.
We're getting in that same gauge as well.
You want to know how competitive things are? I'll talk about the scoring line on the fastest truck that lap. Tom Majeski in 12th place. He outran these leaders, and the leaders have clean racetrack. So that just tells you how good trucks are all throughout the top 20.
Corey Heim has now led the most laps tonight, 43. Lane Riggs led earlier in stage 1 with 30 laps. Raja Karuth, 10 laps, and Corey Day led 1 lap this evening.
Lane's got a really good truck. It's really cool to see Raja having a good run. Just not the start to the season pace-wise that I think we expected, but tonight he has just that.
Very steady, a good confidence boost for them, right? Once you hit that setup good one time and get something that the driver can really feel like they can be aggressive with, and we have seen him be aggressive tonight. He's had some great restarts. He's been putting the truck where he wants to do. That can build, Michael. That can continue on, weeks to come down the road and just really snowball for this team.
Yeah, when the men and women work so hard on these trucks, see their truck performing at that level, it also does something for them. They're like, we knew this guy could do it. And you can see he's running a higher line than most. So he's just trying everything he can to get all the lap time out of that 71 truck he can.
Raja had a good run here last year, finished 4th, and I think that carries over when you come to these places. This particular one, a concrete racetrack, the biggest one they go to, they do it once a year. You carry that confidence when you look back and watch that tape where you say, oh, we were pretty quick last year.
See Tyler Anchor back here, man. His teammate Daniel Henwick right now, currently these guys are running 8th and 9th, and Tyler Anchor every week finds his way towards the front, running a little different line than his teammate Daniel Henwick right now, and just see Daniel the bottom right there, and that's something we hear a lot of these guys talk about. If they can do it, then it can be very good, right? It can help the exit corner, it can help a number of different things. A lot of times when we move up, it's maybe because you're trying to avoid handling characteristics, but also look at the bottom of the racetrack right now too, Michael. There is a ton of rubber down there.
Yeah, and I think
2-second lead now built up through the lap traffic for Corey Heim over Lane Riggs. Riggs has separated himself by over a second and a half back to Raja Karuth in 3rd. After Karuth in 3rd, you've got Caton Honeycutt 6.3 seconds off the lead in 4th. Corey Day rounds out the top 5 in 5th. 6th place is Grant Enfinger, Bailey Curry 7th, Tyler Ankrum 8th, Daniel Hemrick 9th, and Jake Garcia rounds out the top 10. We'll have 5 laps to go in stage 2 this time by at the line. Daniel Hemrick is battling to the inside of Ankrum currently for the 8th spot as they enter turns 1 and 2. Hemrick will be on the bottom lane up towards the top, and in that middle line of the track is the 18 of Ankrum. Mentioned that Ankrum has only finished outside the top 5 4 times this year, same amount as our points leader, Corey Heim. Figured he'd at the very least have a good top 10 performance and maybe a good shot at a top 5. He's been running about 8th, 9th most of this race as he drops back to 9th again. Got to get that truck just a little bit more quicker if he's going to want a shot at a top 5. I think it's pretty clear the top 5 trucks we have right now in the running order are the 5 quickest and probably in the respected order that they're running. I would say that Lane Riggs maybe is better on the short run than Corey Heim. That team can win the race off of pit road, get him that track position, get a good restart. Do something to get the lead initially. I think that could definitely help Riggs to try to get the win in the stage. Michael, thanks for tuning in. Great coverage. Tricon's got to do better. Heim is fine, but the others are struggling. Yeah, I don't think it's so much Tricon as a team as much as it is probably just the drivers that race for Tricon other than Corey Heim. I mean, Giro Ruggiero's had a decent enough season. for his rookie campaign. You gotta factor in that Corey Heim is in his third year in the Truck Series too, and having that much more experience than pretty much all of his teammates. That one team doesn't run every week. Having a new driver in there probably doesn't help the development of that team. Tanner Gray in the 15. He's qualified well throughout the season, but he can't seem to put a full race together by way of getting a good run from start to finish. He either qualifies well and falls to the back, or he'll maybe not qualify as well, and truck will get better as the race goes on, but it definitely takes the whole race to get the good run or a decent enough finish, and that's why he's outside the top 10 in points as well. William Sawalich guiding the one truck tonight back at 21st. So, yeah, experience really, I think, is what it boils down to. I mean, Corey Heim was fast in his rookie season, but he only won 2 races. And then you fast forward into last year where he wins the most races, championship 4 appearance as well. And here we are this season. He's already won 4, going for number 5 in race number 12. Chandler Smith making a pass on Connor Mosak for position. That pass for 18th. That's about as high as Chandler Smith has been in the running order tonight. It's been a complete struggle for that 38 team this evening. Down to 55 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line this upcoming time by. We will finish off stage number 2. And by a couple seconds, it'll be Corey Heim winning his 9th stage of the Truck Series season. And second behind him would be Lane Riggs, Raja Caruth in 3rd. Corey Day 4th, Caden Honeycutt in 5th, so Day was able to make a pass for 4th in the final couple laps of the stage. Grant Enfinger in 6th, Bailey Curry 7th, Daniel Hemrick in 8th, Jake Garcia 9th, and Tyler Ankrum slipped back to 10th in the closing laps of the stage. Actually, no, Dawson Sutton on the final lap gets by for 10th on Ankrum, so Ankrum does not get any stage points in stage number 2. So again, 6th through 10th, Enfinger in 6th, Bailey Curry 7th, Daniel Hemrick 8th, Jake Garcia 9th, and Dawson Sutton rounds out the top 10. 1 point per position in those top 10 at the end of stages 1 and 2. Riggs, our stage 1 winner, Heim, stage 2 winner. Corey has led for 55 laps after starting on the pole. 30 laps led for Lane Riggs, 10 for Roger Caruth, and 1 for Corey Day. They're all in the top 4 in the running order. They're the only 4 to lead at least 1 lap. We've had 6 lead changes amongst them, and this is now our 4th caution of the race. We had 1 caution for any sort of an incident or an on-track deal, I guess, to bring out the yellow, and then the 2 stage breaks at lap 45 and lap 95. Short run and a caution a few laps after the stage 1 restart when Jack Wood had spun after contact with Ty Majeski. Light contact, that is, between those 2 trucks. They were 3 wide on entry into 3, and Wood's truck slipped out from underneath him. On the outside, Akinori had spun trying to miss the incident, backed it into the outside wall. And on the opening lap of the race, there was some fluid that was put down for Frankie Muniz. He had an oil leak after an oil line break. He has not returned to the racetrack since. So tough departure for Muniz here this week until the leaders got to about turns 1 and 2 on the second lap. So we went green lap 1, caution lap 2. And those would be the only yellows that we've seen throughout the course of the evening. 150 lap event. We're on lap 97. We'll have less than 50 laps to go when we get the next restart in. And we should see what could be the final pit stop of the race today during the stage 2 break as well. There'll be plenty good on fuel to make it to the end from here. JC, welcome into the stream. Only way Heim is getting past is if the truck is going the wrong. That is very true. Bam Hall, welcome into the stream. Got all A's and B's on your final report card. That's awesome, man. And happy summer break to you. Going to close out the chat poll since we've reached the end of stage 2. And the fan vote for the win tonight will be our stage 2 winner, current race leader Corey Heim. 38% of 65 votes going Heim's way. 30% of you took Kyle Busch for the win. 18% took somebody other than Heim, Busch, or Riggs. And Riggs at 12%. He was at 18. His voting poll dropped off quite a bit, those last 20 votes from when we last checked at the end of stage 1. So Heim time it is, it looks like. He was my pick to win the race again here tonight. It's hard not to take Corey Heim on an intermediate track, but when you base the fact that he was fastest in practice in the 5 through 30 lap averages as well, and the overall fastest lap he started on the pole, good luck beating him. And so far the field has needed good luck to try to take him down. Pit Road was not open that last time by. They should be opening it up this time. Riggs and Heim, with each splitting for a stage win, also finished second in a stage, so they split for 19 stage points apiece, most in this race. Raja Kurth with 16 stage points total, 12 for Caden Honeycutt, 10 for Daniel Hemrick, 8 for Grant Enfinger, Bailey Curry 6, 4 for Ankrum, and 2 for Jake Garcia. So those are the only truck regulars getting stage points this evening. Obviously, we saw some stage points for Corey Day as well, and he was for 10 points total, but he's not running full-time for truck points because he is not running every race. But good night for Spire for the 71 and the 7. Not so good for Busch in the 07. Rogers Perez back in the 77. They've been outside the top 10 the whole race. Even with the early issues for Busch, I think about a 14th place truck is as good as that truck is probably going to be. They can make some more adjustments this time by and help him out a bit. But as far as competing for a win, it will be tough. Pit road is open.
As they dive to the inside, they're coming your way, Todd.
Yeah, we talked about the first run. Lane Riggs was a little too tight in traffic. Well, he ran over half of that run behind other trucks. It was too tight. Once he got to second, clean air, it was still too tight. So Dylan Capello trying to make a small adjustment for that for the long run.
Josh, for Rajah Cruz in that 71 truck, he said he was too free to hustle it the way he wants it, since he needs the right rear to be better. And then for Corey Heim, so that truck got too tight towards the end of the run, but he doesn't want it loosened up too much. I think it's 4 tires.
Oh, heartbreaker again for Lane Riggs. This time it was about triple as long, Michael. The right front was a problem again.
Same issue. It looked like there was just problem getting the
Way bigger deal this time, though. Yeah, 6 spots lost for Lane Riggs. He goes from 2nd to 6th. I mentioned that was something that couldn't happen. The pit crew cost him the lead the first time, never got it back, and now it's going to cost him even more track position than what they already had lost before. So back to 8th for him. Had some problems trying to get the right front tire on. Looked like it was mainly just not being able to get the wheel centered on the race truck. So either way there, Riggs loses quite a few spots. Corey Heim also did not win the race off pit road again. That's 71 team Raja Caruth. That's 2 times that they have won the race off of pit road this evening and beat the 11 and the 34 that were ahead of them. So Caruth will be the leader on the upcoming restart. Corey Heim is going to be in 2nd. And behind them around row 2 should be, it's like Grant Enfinger and Corey Day, although I don't know if our leaderboard still has to update or not. Get back to the start finish line. I don't think it has to update. I think we do have the updated live leaderboard. So with where we're at right now, 49 laps to go in the Craftsman Truck Series event here tonight at Nashville. Time for our Stage 2 diecast showing to the stream. And I figured we're on a concrete racetrack. And Carl Edwards is in the Amazon Prime booth. Well, not in the booth, but he's in the pre-race, the post-race, the mid-race reports. Anyway, he's back on NASCAR TV for the next several weeks. So I figured, cousin Carl, he was Concrete Carl at one point. Former winner at Nashville in the NASCAR Xfinity Series side of things. This diecast is the 19 car towards the later stages of his NASCAR career for Joe Gibbs Racing. This one is actually from his final season in 2016. Check the bottom of it just to make sure that that's right. It doesn't say. It's either 2015 or 2016 because he only raced there for 2 years. 2016 obviously would have been his final season, but this is a Stanley car. I always liked the Stanley schemes over the years. Even Marcus Ambrose's scheme back in the 9 car at Richard Petty Motorsports. His car of tomorrow, early NASCAR days. I like the Stanley schemes over the year. So that will be tonight's diecast show. We'll have more at the end of Stage 2 for the Xfinity and Cup races this weekend. We'll have one pop off at some point in time during the practice and qualifying stream tomorrow afternoon for the Cup Series as well. Robert Goodrich, welcome to the stream. Back windshield. It doesn't show the year on here though. It's like it might be like a code number or something. I see a bunch of numbers on here, but 1519. Maybe the year is 15, car number 19. So maybe it's from 2015. I can't say for sure though. I know the box tells me on all the diecasts too, but I haven't seen the boxes for each of these cars in so long, so I couldn't tell you. If I had bought them somewhat recently, I could remember a lot easier. It also helps if it's a rookie car and it was a rookie stripe on the back of it, because I know when most of these drivers ran their first seasons, but this one far from a rookie car. Once again, that is the diecast showing for tonight's stream.
The air guitar Michael sings together, you're a duo.
Todd was strumming the string so hard that he might have broke them all before he got that guitar home to put it on the wall.
Good times. That beautiful guitar awaits the winner of this one.
You're gonna have to watch that Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone, because these guys are gonna be all over one another. Every restart gets more and more important. This is the most important one tonight.
47 laps to go here. Raja Karut's pit group got it done out front. He will lead him. Corey Hymas next to him. Grant Enfinger, another gainer on pit row. Corey Day, second row on the outside.
Great jump there on the inside. Did his job. We're looking at right through the center.
Lost 7 spots on that slow stop.
That was an impressive restart by Ruth, wasn't it? Regan?
He did everything just perfect right there. And when we see Lane Riggs back here,
Kane Honey got on the outside.
Grant had a bit of a stumble there in the middle of the corner. Cade jumped on it. He's going to bring Lane Riggs right behind him.
Scott Lane Riggs.
we mentioned, Lane Riggs being back there in that position, lost all those spots because of that pit stop. And these restarts are exactly what you get concerned with, right? The battle and the 3 wide, everything that takes place here. And we saw him be aggressive in turns 1 and 2 on the first lap. He didn't quite pay off. He got the 3 and 4, but doing everything he can right now. It could take him this entire run to gain these spots back. That's how difficult this is.
But look how fast he was up high on the groove, but was able to keep that momentum up and gain ground on the guys he's racing with.
If you see that pylon on your screen on the left side next to Corey Hines' name, that's not for fine time. That means he has officially turned the fastest lap. Okay, what's that?
Just
Wish you got the
stupid pun.
can't change.
The time next to Hines, not for Hines.
Truck has turned the fastest lap.
It is kind of ironic, though, that it's a stopwatch and it's on Heim and it's Heim time all the time.
We've been talking about Raja Ruth all night long and how good he's been. He's been in the top 3 basically the entire race. Pit crew on both pit stops gets him out with a lead. That you mentioned it on the restart, Jamie, how good of a job they've done. But now he's doing his job. That's that great restart. And now he's getting into a position where he can let the truck lead. Maybe, start to understand, okay, where's my truck at? Where does it like to run when it's out in the lead here? And he's got just enough gap on Corey Heim to where he's got the ability to take and play with that just a little bit right now. Josh, definitely looking good up front there.
Yeah, that 71 something looking really good for Raja. We talked to him earlier. He had a lot of confidence coming into today. He knew from how successful you've been here in the past. We talked about the fact that his setup in his truck was similar to the one that the 19 had last year when they dominated this race. Well, talking to the team earlier today as well, they felt like this could be the time that he could put it all together. He said, I just need one excellent night to get back into victory lane and to get back to the playoffs. They feel really good about that truck. And one more thing to note, restarts were something they really focused on. Raja has been lights out on his restarts out there.
We certainly was there. That was really impressive the way he executed. Got that jump on the bottom, made it through 1 and 2. That was really impressive.
Stuart Friesen taking away 15th from Tyler Ankrum right there as Stuart continues his work to the front. It's just been one of those nights to where I know 15th isn't where he wants to end up, but a very nice job after starting shotgun on the field.
Tyler Ankrum was battling. We were talking about him battling with his teammate Daniel Hemrick up in the top 10. So they must have had a slow stop, fell back there, or the restart caused it to lose some spots.
This pass wasn't as easy as we first thought, Regan, because watch this. Look how tight Akram has Stewart through close down to that yellow line, pinned down, and Stewart's going to get loose.
Cool. Wait. Just back and forth. Good save, Stewart. And, certainly if you're Tyler Ankrum, you've got to be aware of that. If that truck's out loose, you've got to be aware that it could wreck you as well.
I don't think Stewart ever came off the gas, though. Do you, Regan?
I don't. He looked like he was at one of those dirt tracks in New York you were talking about earlier.
Such a great battle here. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Just relentless here. And Corey Day, guys, we haven't talked about Corey Day this much at one race start to, middle of the 3rd and final stage.
This is how it all starts. Jamie, we talked about, Todd said he'd only ran 20-some asphalt hard surfaces, as Todd called it. And just being able to perform in the top 5 at this level, that's impressive.
What's impressive is what the man on the right side has done, Chandler Smith. He has passed 45 trucks and counting tonight. He just keeps going backwards and driving forward.
Up to 10.
To the top 10.
9 of those trucks, Jamie, since the restart. Chandler just continuing to grind it out, right? Maybe not the night that he wanted, but he's grinding it out. And as we get towards the end of this race, he starts to show back up. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want. I had some trouble with that right rear and spent some time on pit road fixing that in stage 1.
Well, Regan, he's done it twice this season. He's found victory lane with this new team. He certainly has been impressive and in the conversation week in and week out. Lane Riggs just keeps digging, wants to take that spot away from Corey Day, and he does it. Lane Riggs into 4th. Meanwhile, Raja Caruth continues to lead over Corey Heim at Nashville.
All right, so Raja Caruth leads the way. Did a great job getting out in front of the restart after his pit crew wanted him to race off pit road, just as he did in stage 1. The second restart in stage number 2, though, the first one he held on to the lead. The second one he did not. That's where Corey Heim was able to get back by him on the outside. That was when Caruth fired off on the older tires. So if we are to have a caution before the end of this race where Caruth is the leader, Heim's at second, we'll see if Raja can fire off better on the old tires. That is where it bit him. But on the fresh tires, he did a great job, and he's got the clean air advantage for now. Still haven't got into heavy lap traffic up to this point since the restart. That could be a factor as well because Corey Heim seems like his truck just handles a lot better than everybody else's in traffic, in dirty air. Closer he gets behind the 71, the longer the run goes, plus having the long run speed that Corey Heim has had all day long through practice and now into the race. And he'll be tough to beat, but we'll see if Raja can get it done. As Caruth's out in front and Heim is in second, Lane Riggs is 3 seconds off the lead in third, then Daniel Hemrick 3.6 seconds back in fourth. 4.4 seconds off the lead is Corey Day in fifth, and Caden Honeycutt's 5.8 seconds back. Rounding out the rest of the field on our leaderboard now, we have Grant Enfinger in 7th, Bailey Curry 8th, Ty Majeski 9th, and Chandler Smith rounds out the top 10. First time he's cracked the top 10 today. Dawson Sutton in 11th, Giovanni Ruggiero in 12th, Jake Garcia 13th, Kyle Busch 14th, and Stuart Friesen 15th. 16th for Tyler Ankrum as he is really dropping like a rock here. Ben Rhodes is up to 17th. I believe that's about a race high he was in the top 10 for a brief moment, so he's starting to fall back as well. Tanner Gray's in 18th, and Luke Fenhouse 19th, and Andres Perez is in 20th. 21st for Jack Wood, Matt Mills 22nd, Connor Mosak 23rd, Matt Crafton 24th, and 25th is William Sawalich. First truck a lap down in 26th, Spencer Boyd, Clayton Green 27th, Nathan Bird 28th, Tyler Tomasi 29th, and Tony Breidinger 30th. Akadori Ogata 31st, and still the only truck out of the race. Frankie Muniz, lap 2, he pulled off the racetrack, had an oil line failure, resulting in the first caution of the race as well. No cautions for incidents so far in stage 3. 31 laps to go this time by. And the Rackley Roofing 200 for the Craftsman Truck Series at Nashville Superspeedway. We'll take a quick break, continue our live commentary coverage as this race rolls on. 30 laps to go this time by. Quickest truck on the track the last time by was actually Lane Riggs, who dropped a 30.77 to our leader's 30.87. Corey Heim was a 30.95. Raj Crew 30.92. Riggs a little quicker again. 38.6 for Corey Heim. So trading lap times back and forth right now between the 71 and the 11 at the front of the pack. Corey Heim has pretty much consistently been about 0.8 of a second to a full second off the lead for a vast majority of this current green flag run. We last went green with about 46 to 45 laps to go, so just over 20 laps on these tires for green flag action. If we are to see a caution, each of these teams do have one more sets of tires left, so it'll be interesting to see who may come down and take some. We currently have 25 trucks on the lead lap. Few of them about to go a lap down, which will also be interested to see how Carruth's truck handles in dirty air as he gets into lap traffic, because that is where Corey Heim was able to pounce on Lane Riggs towards the end of stage 1. Ran out of laps to make the pass, but with still 28 laps to go in this stage and the deficit being about a second or less, could be a little harder for Carruth. Swings wide up off turn 2, getting by the damaged Ogata race truck. He's in the wake of the dirty air behind him on the bottom of the racetrack through the center of 1 and 2 the last time by. Corey Heim now having to go to that middle to upper groove to get a run on Ogata, who runs the yellow line at the bottom. That last time by at the line, Raja Carruth was about 16 one-thousandths of a second quicker than Corey. They've been trading lap times within about 100th or 200ths of a second amongst each other back and forth. There has been a noticeable increase in lap time from one driver to the next. Corey Heim does have the fastest lap of the race as of right now, and if that holds to the end, he'll get the Xfinity Fastest Lap Award, which will be worth 1 bonus point. Carruth through his top 5 in both stages tonight, although outside of the top 2 from Riggs and Heim is beating them so far. And we're already about halfway through this final stage from when we last restarted. We'll have 25 laps to go this time by. But the laps cannot go down quick enough if you're the driver that's 71, the way things are running right now. Carruth would be the 8th different Truck Series winner on the season, the 5th of a truck regular, if he can pull this one off. And again, it would be career win number 2 for Raja, and he'll qualify for the playoffs for the second consecutive year. Both in that 71 team for Spire Motorsports. Put a little bit of distance between himself and Corey Heim through turns 1 and 2 that last time by. The lead got stretched out to about 1.2 seconds. And that was about a 700th of a second difference as they cut across the timing line, where Raja Carruth was quicker than that of Corey Heim. Sit for Brains, welcome to the stream. He's saying Riggs is coming. Yeah, Riggs was about 3 seconds off the lead. He's down to 2.5, 2.2. Riggs had the long run speed in the last 2 truck races at Kansas and Charlotte and ran out of time late. He fired off well in the short run. That's pretty much how he got out to the lead and held on after the restart back at stage 1. Stage 2, he didn't look quite as strong from second or third, but he also restarted further back. And here in stage 3, he restarted even further out of the top 2 positions. But that last time by, he had a 31.0, which was a 10th or 2 quicker than the 2 trucks ahead of him. Lead still down to 2.2 seconds to third. 0.6 of a second over Corey Heim in second. Best thing for Riggs is if the 11 can catch the 71 and then they battle for a couple laps, use their equipment up a little bit, use their tires, slow their lap times down, running side by side perhaps. Six-tenth of a second, the difference between Carruth and Heim. Still that last time by at the line. 31.28 for Corey, 31.23 for Carruth. Lane Riggs is down just under 2 seconds off the lead with 20 laps to go. His deficit's 1.8 seconds. Riggs has had the fastest truck on the track for about the last 5 or 6 laps on a consistent basis, albeit not that get even closer than the 2 seconds that he's back right now. There's definitely time there. Carruth getting into lap traffic, running the bottom of the racetrack. Corey Heim trying to get a little bit more cleaner on the nose through turns 1 and 2 on the outside. Heim actually lost a little bit of ground through the corner, tried to gain it back on the straightaway, but not enough for him to have an overall lap time advantage that last time by. Carruth will stretch the lead out a bit. Heim also caught the 0-2, the lap truck, pretty bad spot off turn 4, stuck in line behind him. That's also going to help Carruth. Looks like Matt Kraft in the last truck in the lead lap is the next lapper in front of our leader. Right in front of him is William Sawalich, who's also at the tail end of the lead lap. Carruth to the inside, puts Kraft in a lap down into 3 and 4. Corey Heim has to charge hard on the bottom of the track. He's also going to try to clear Crafton by the exit of turn 4 to help him out there also. You got to be able to clear a vehicle that you get alongside through the center of the corner. If you can't clear him by the exit, it's really going to hurt that corner exit speed quite a bit. And as for Corey Heim, he didn't get by Crafton until he got into turn 1, and that did cost him about 1/10 of a second that last lap. So another 10th put on, and with how close these two are running in lap times to one another, that could be another lap or two before Heim gets that time back. If that. Number 2, Clayton Green. Heim going to try the outside through 1 and 2 as well. I do feel that the bottom lane for both the 11 and the 71 has been the strongest lines, right around that yellow line. Corey's having a tough time trying to run that when he gets close enough behind Carruth, and that's the advantage Raja has. But it seems like when they both have to go into that middle groove of the track to get around lap trucks who are determined to running that yellow line and not moving off of it, they both lose time. That's where Corey will lose a 10th or 2 and then end up getting it back the next lap, next corner or so. But it's an even amount of time gained and lost on both ends. Lane Riggs is 1.7 seconds off the lead now. Another problem for Lane is he's going to have to get by Corey Heim once he gets to the 11, if he gets there. And he can't waste much time. And we know Corey's not going to race him very easily. It was Riggs who took Heim out of a shot to win at North Wilkesboro a couple of weeks ago because of a late race incident on an overtime restart. So I doubt that Heim's going to let Riggs go very easily to let Riggs have a better shot at trying to win this race here tonight at Nashville. With 15 laps to go in this race, there is a current side-by-side commercial break airing on FS1. We'll stay right here with our live commentary coverage. Do be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Our stream goal was to get to 100. We're at 71 right now. We do have well more than 100 people in the chat. So definitely be sure to hit the like. Subscribe for more NASCAR content like this every NASCAR race weekend. Truck Xfinity Cup action, Cup practice, and qualifying as well if you haven't yet. And again, the laps are winding down for the Craftsman Truck Series at Nashville. 13 laps to go this time by at the line. It does look like Corey Heim has gotten to within about 1/2 second of our leader, Raja Carruth. 12 laps to go still this time by. Lane Riggs is now only 1.5 seconds off the lead in third. Carruth has done a good job to manage his lead to this point. But he's going to have to put the hammer down. He's going to have to continue to get by lap trucks quickly because second and third are slightly closing the later we get into this race and the longer we go in these tires during this green flag run.
Corey picked up 0.2 of a second.
And I love hearing that. That's from Eddie DeHaan, his spotter on the roof. Eddie, a very experienced sponsor. He is he is coaching him up, telling him exactly what we said earlier, right? Focus out as he gets tight. That's the kind of thing he's got to avoid. Don't let Corey Heim
Can't do that.
Chunks of time in one corner.
And see this one truck of William Sawalich. He's a competitive truck. Means he's running good lap times. and that's going to take air off the nose of that 71 as he catches him. Maybe it's time to flare up and run a different lane than the one. Had a good corner there, though. Pulled a little bit of ground on second place Corey Heim.
William Smolich in 24. Last truck on the lead lap. That's who they need to get around.
I like that move from Raja that time. He went into the corner higher to try and build that momentum, get that clean air you keep talking about. Now he's got to find a way to complete it right here as you see him show to the bottom to try and get this off.
That was a big move right there. As you see right behind Corey Heim, here comes Lane Riggs.
Look at that gap.
He's coming into play here. That was really a class move by the one truck. I think he just gave up the bottom of the racetrack and let these leaders battle. That's what you like to see, but a lot of times that's not what happens, and each truck they come to will be more and more difficult to manage.
William Smolich is a teammate to Corey Heim. He knew it was coming.
Riggs is still the fastest
And here we are.
of these top three.
To go. Raja Caruth trying to hold off Corey Heim. Lane Riggs hard charging behind them.
Straight corner there by Heim.
And Corey moved up to the top, right? He's searching around right now. He's doing everything he can from the seat to try and gain the position. He knows if he puts that pressure on Raja, that could be what makes him make the ultimate mistake that allows him to get by.
Remember the heartbreak just a week ago for William Byron after dominating the Coke 600 and getting beat late. Raja's put himself in that same position, being so good on this last run. Can he hold off those two guys chasing him?
Raja Caruth has led 53 laps tonight.
That was Raja showing Spencer Boyd in the 76. I want the bottom. I'm cutting a little early so that Boyd sees that.
And it's been clear this entire run, right? Raja Caruth's truck has been the best on the bottom. This is not going to be a problem here going in on the top side because he's going to clear that lap truck before he gets there, which allows him to go right back to the bottom, run the lane that he wants.
Lane Riggs is right on Corey Heim. Corey had a good strong corner there.
I just love this pedal like all three of these guys. If you go to make the move, you don't complete the move. If you're Corey Heim, guess what? Lane Riggs is there. He's going to get a run. So
Corey's got a big run off turn 4.
Heim is there. Heim is there. Watch it go.
To the outside, Corey Heim goes side by side. This is for the win.
Whoa, he cut him off.
To go. It doesn't work.
Here comes Riggs.
Can he get around the 11?
Oh, Riggs ran into the back of the 11.
They might do it again. Riggs to the bottom. Big block by Heim. We know these two's history. What a battle. Regan, you said it. I'm nervous. These guys are doing all they got. And look at the run Heim has. He's going to get there again.
What a battle.
5 laps to go. Let's take another look.
And certainly the challenge for Raja here. He knows that Corey Heim got to the outside quarter. We see he's trying to break the dread down the straightaway right here.
Unbelievable battle right here. Look at Lane Riggs going to take another look on the inside. Raja says, yes, you guys just stay side by side behind me.
Look at that.
4 laps to go at the line. Raja Caruth leads nose to nose for second, just behind. Lane Riggs on the inside of Corey Heim looking to take the spot away. Corey had a great run on that middle to upper groove off turn 4 the 2 laps before the last. He gets a good run off turn 2 from the high side to clear Riggs, and he's within about 2 truck lengths behind our race leader Raja Caruth, who continues to try to break the draft down the straightaways, front stretch and the back stretch. He gave clean air on the nose of the 11 to the bottom of the track that time, and that might have costed him just a bit. Caruth trying to hold on, 3 laps to go. Has to master the corner entry down into 1 and 2. It does seem like Corey Heim has beat him on the first half of 1 and 2, but not the second half. Heim very loose on the bottom lane of the racetrack. You could tell he was trying to sail it off in there as quickly as he could and might have stepped just a little bit over the edge. He loses about 3 to 4 truck lengths to Raja Caruth, our race leader, that last lap. Lane Riggs going to try a second attempt to try to make the pass for second place on Corey Heim. 2 laps to go. The lead is just over half a second. The 34 and the 11 nearly touch on corner entry into turn 1. And again, it's Caruth who holds on right in front of Lane Riggs. They battle with each other side by side twice now in the final 5 laps. Both times allowed for Caruth to open his gap up just a little bit more. Corey Heim to that middle to upper lane of the racetrack, once again through 3 and 4, looking for a run this time, but he's slow 1 lap to go for Raja Caruth. He's got a little less than a half a second advantage as they enter turn 1. Caruth to the bottom of the racetrack. Corey Heim up to the wider line. Riggs down towards the bottom in third is also within a second of the lead. Corey Heim looking for a charge down the back straightaway. He's got momentum. He's within 2 truck lengths as they enter turn 3. One last shot. As he cuts to the bottom of the racetrack, he's not going to get there, and Raja Caruth is going to hold on, and this will be the second career win in the Craftsman Truck Series for Caruth, first of 2025. He holds off the series points leader, Corey Heim, for the race win. Masterful job of getting to the lead on the restart and never looking back. And Raja Caruth has won the Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville. Had the track position, never made a mistake. He made one slight mistake, and then Corey Heim, a lap or two later, made a slight mistake and gave that little bit of time up that he had right back. He had to make a very tight block when it looked like Corey was going to get to his outside with about 5 laps to go in turns 1 and 2. Heim was forced to lift, which he did, but was never able to get back to the back bumper of the 71 after that. And Raja Caruth is our race winner here tonight. Margin of victory about a half a second for Caruth. He also ended up leading 61 laps, which is the most of any driver in the race tonight. 58 laps led for a pole sitter, Corey Heim, 30 for Lane Riggs, and 1 for Corey Day were the 4 drivers to lead at least 1 lap. Heim gets the Xfinity Fastest Lap Award with a 30.24, finishing in second. Well, Raja Caruth steals the night here at Nashville. We'll go through the rest of the finishing results once we get an interview from our race winner. And it looks like his dad and sister will be coming to greet him on the front stretch, along with the rest of the HendrickCars.com race team.
And he held on the best of the series right now. Spire Motorsports and what they've been able to do, building 4 trucks each week in this series.
What about spotter Eddie DeHaan? Tell him, coach them home. So drive the 7 laps of your life.
Devon Edits, welcome to the stream.
It was a total team effort tonight. What a show.
Other wins
He
the
drove
pole, yep.
56 laps of his life right there to that final stage.
Such a good young man.
He got that helmet off. He just said they won the race for us.
Here comes the crew.
So, Josh, what a happy winner and well-deserved.
A big-time celebration for Raja Caruth, his second career win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as he gets a hug from his father, a hug from his girlfriend as well. A special moment for Raja, certainly, and his team. And like you mentioned, Jamie, the pit crew was really big and instrumental in helping him get through this one. Raja, you told me earlier today, right? You said, I am one excellent day away from getting a win and getting back into the playoffs. How's that for an excellent day?
I didn't expect that at all. Those guys were breathing down my neck the whole run. My pit crew won that race. Jerry, Zico, Dawson, Josh, Cody. Yeah, they won that race for us. Got us off pit road twice. So thanks to them. Thanks to Mr. H, Miss Linda, everybody at HendrickCars.com. I'm out of breath, but that was a lot of fun.
What's going through your mind as Corey Heim, a guy that has 4 wins already this season, is barreling down on you towards the end of that race, trying to hold up him and Lane Riggs as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I just was asking myself how bad you want it. I think it's I don't know. I just try my best, and we had clean air, and their stuff was better, but I just did my best. That was it.
Raja Caruth, your winner at Nashville.
Corey Heim, second place finish. I know it's all about winning for you guys coming off the win at Charlotte. What more did you need to get up there and race with Raja?
I feel like just clean air was the main thing tonight. With the third stage being so straightforward, lack of kind of strategy going green there. I feel like it was tough to come back from not having the lead, but big congrats to Raja. I did an awesome job from the lead. I was really made pretty much the right choice every time as far as where I was going to go, and it's nice racing against people that aren't gonna wreck your racing for the lead. So that was cool, and big congrats to him. But also huge thank you to Truck on Garage. Showed a safe flight. Wrapped up the month of May with Foster Love with the P2. Would have loved to get my first guitar, but always next time.
Torrehan brings it home second.
All right, if we get any other interviews before FS1 goes off the air or we go off the air here tonight, I'll be sure to let you listen in. Raja Karut, the race winner again here tonight. Half a second margin of victory as they cross the stripe. Only 4 cautions, none of which for incident in stage number 3. We had a caution at lap number 2 for an oil line break for Frankie Muniz. We had a spin with a back into the wall for Akinori Ogata, Jack Wood early in stage 2, and then the 2 stage yellows at lap 45 and lap 95 were the 4 cautions here tonight. Again, 2 for incident, 1 in stage 1, 1 in stage 2. Raja Karut started in the 10th spot here tonight. He leads the most laps, 61, and gets the race win. Corey Heim ends up finishing in second after leading the second most laps with 58. And Corey Heim did win stage number 2, so he does pick up 1 more playoff point this evening. Lane Riggs, who won stage 1, also picked up a playoff point, still searching for his first win. Another top 3 for Riggs as he finishes third in the 4th spot. And Corey Day with his first career top 5 for the Craftsman Truck Series. Great night for Spire Motorsports this evening. Caton Honeycutt finishes in 6th. Chandler Smith 7th. Ty Majeski in 8th. Bailey Curry 9th. And 10th was Grant Enfinger. 11th for Dawson Sutton. Jake Garcia 12th. Gio Ruggiero 13th. Ben Rhodes 14th. And Kyle Busch 15th. Struggled all night. Never cracked the top 10. Tanner Gray in 16th. Tyler Ankrum 17th. Luke Fenhouse 18th. Andres Perez 19th. Jack Wood 20th. Stuart Friesen 21st. Matt Mills 22nd. Connor Mosack 23rd. William Sawalich first truck a lap down in 24th. So 23 trucks tonight finished on the lead lap. Matt Crafton ended up 25th. Spencer Boyd 26th. Clayton Green in 27th. Nathan Bird 28th. Tyler Tomasi 29th. And Tony Breidinger 30th. 31st for Akinori Ogata. And the only driver who DNF'd was Frankie Muniz with the oil line failure. Finished just 1 lap today was Frankie. So that will conclude tonight's Craftsman Truck Series stream live on KRC. We'll be back at it again tomorrow for a doubleheader of NASCAR content on the channel. We'll be live for NASCAR Cup practice and qualifying, which will be on Prime and live right here on the channel at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll have live commentary for tomorrow night's Xfinity Series race a few hours after that at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we'll go live with our pre-race coverage Sunday before the NASCAR Cup race at 6:30. Almost had the wrong time there. 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Rest of the start times are labeled in the community tab already if you can't remember those start times that I just rolled through. And again, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. And subscribe for more NASCAR content. We hit 80 likes on the stream here tonight as of right now. Hope to get more into the post-race of this show. Robert Barong, welcome into the stream as well. Ivan Edits, thanks for tuning in. There were a couple people there in the late going that I saw pop into the stream after the race was over. Chris Davis, welcome to the stream. And many others if I didn't shout you out throughout. Appreciate you tuning in as always. See you guys tomorrow for our NASCAR doubleheader. Again, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, our next stream. NASCAR Cup practice and qualifying from Nashville. Signing off. Have a good rest of your Friday night, everyone.